Hello class, welcome to the business law course. Still with me, your lecturer Sujana Donandi speaking. And for this occasion, we are going to discuss about labor law. As we have discussed at the previous meetings, in understanding labor law, banking law, insurance law, and the other specific topic in this course, the main knowledge that you have to know as the preparation to understand those topics are about the contract law, because actually everything is based on the contract. And now we are going to talk about specifically about labor law, and we will start with the understanding of the concept of the labor law. So in the beginning of the course in this semester, we have tried to cope with the understanding of law, starting by the definition and also the understanding of the concept of law. So labor law is actually only one classification of a business law. And business law itself is only one classification of the area of law. So here we got law, and law has many classification or many area of law, namely, for example, administrative law, constitutional law, and maybe you can also mention here the criminal law, and there are so many other types of law, and one of them is business law. And in business law, we recognize contract as the basic, as the mother law, to learn about the other uh, more more specific topic about the business law, including labor law, which is our discussion for today. So labor law is under the classification of business law. The main idea of the labor law is still focus on the law, as law is always talking about right and obligation. So now we're talking about the right and obligation regarding the labor. And of course, talking about labor, it should be also including the existence of the employer and the employee, because one can be a labor only if he is hired. If he is not hired, then he's just an available worker without any job. And also we will deepen about those terminology later, but for now let's cope with the concept. And if we take a look at the existence of labor law, so labor law is talking about everything regarding the relationship between the employee and the employer, and the governing of those relationships is including in three moments. The first one is before the working, and then during the working or the work, and after the work. So Indonesian as a rec star is a law who has the supremacy in the application of the society's life. Everything must be based on the law, including the action in labor. And it's also started even before the working that conducted by the employee to the employer is commenced. So the law also talking about how is the process before the working, including the recruitment. So the recruitment of the labor must be based on the law, and also uh, regarding the the company itself, when the company want to be established, before the company hired workers, the company itself must be able to be considered as the lawful company to do the business in Indonesia. And also the labor law is governed about how the work is conducted by the employee, and also how the employer fulfill their obligation towards the employee. So it's talking about right and obligation here of who? Of the employee and the employer. And also talking about the before the working, it's also talking about the company, and also the criteria of the worker itself. The criteria of the worker must be fulfilling the labor law as well. And the labor law also exists when the works is finished. Let's say you are working for a company, and then after 10 years, you are sacked from your position or you are fired. So now the working agreement between you as the worker and your entrepreneurs or the business actor, your employee, is now finished. The law said after the termination of the contract, yeah, the labor law said when you are not working to your company anymore, it's called after the work. Yeah. So after the work, the law also govern about it, that after the work, yeah, the employer should pay some compensation for the worker. In Indonesia, you may be usually heard about the news about the PHK, yeah, the one side contract termination by the company, especially nowadays during the COVID-19. There are so many potential this kind of situation that the companies terminate the contract to the employee. So the law said if that's happened, yeah, whether because the one side termination or maybe the employee is retired, so the employer should pay some compensation, including the severance money, the reward money, and the other classification of facilities or money that should be paid by the employer based on the law and the contract. For example, for the severance and the reward money, it's based on law 13/2003 that the employer should pay at least the severance money. In Indonesia, we call it pesangon, and also the reward money or penghargaan to the labor. So now, when we talk about labor law later, you must have this concept in your mind that labor law is talking about the regulation about the settlement as well, that govern about how is the working before the working is done, during the working is conducted, and also after the working agreement, after the contract of work is finished. So that's all for the concept. Please try to reread again, repeat, and repeat if you still don't understand the concept, because this concept is the keyword for you to understand the further discussion about this topic. I'll see you again at the next part. And thank you.